I'm a bit far away, but sure. One second.
What kind of camera are you using? If you don't mind me asking.
A Logitech.
Oh,
Logitech.
I need to get
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, you should, highly recommend it. They got it's pretty cheap as well. It's like the 1080p one. You don't need to get you don't need to get the 4K one, because it's like four times the price. But this one I think it's like 80 quid, but the quality's excellent.
Okay. Well,
How's
great.
the sound? The sound good?
Yeah, everything is perfect. I guess
Okay, cool.
you've done this a few times.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, at this stage, yeah, I've done a few.
Okay. Well,
All right, man.
to get started, this is Mark Zolo. He's I guess you can say, a digital nomad. He works remotely from his computer and travels all over the world. Um, you want to give us a
Well,
brief overview?
Well, that's not so much the case nowadays. I opened a few bars here. I live in Malta in the Mediterranean now, so I'm a bit more settled than I used to be. The
Uh,
website might be called Naughty Nomad, but I'm not so naughty. I'm not such a nomad anymore.
all right. Well,
But yeah, but basically, for those who don't know me, I run a site, naughtynomad.com. It's the largest men's travel site online. I got over 100 city guides there about where to go, how to pick up girls there, nightlife. I've written 3 books. Some of them have got to #1 on Amazon for travel writing. You can check them out at naughtynomad.com. That's kind of that's my little intro spiel.
yeah. I saw your website online. That's how I ended up getting, and that's the reason I invited you on Facebook in the first place. It was from your website.
Oh, cheers, man. Were you searching for a city or something like that?
Well, I was just traveling and looking up travel blogs and looking for like information on how to meet women in different areas and good bars to go to or whatever. And yours came up, and I found it very helpful actually.
Yeah, well, I try. I try. It's actually this year. It's 10 years old. That website, believe it or not. So
So
yeah, I've been doing it
anyway,
a long time.
usually on this podcast, I talk about like what I'm trying to talk about is travel, like your experiences traveling, business, self improvement, mainly just traveling, dating, and business stuff. So if you have like any, I don't know, like you were doing the remote lifestyle for a while, I was just kind of wondering how you made your money when you were traveling before.
Well, I mean, I did it a bit differently than most digital nomads. What I would do is mainly I would I had a lot of fingers in many pots. So I'd go back to Ireland and save up a load of cash doing things like bartending. I worked in casinos, and I did a lot of web and graphic design. And it was kind of more the web and graphic design stuff that gave you obviously more freedom because you can work from a laptop. I was an art director as well in gaming. And I have a website as well. Back in the day, it used to make a bit more cash. Now with algorithm changes and me not just putting the effort into it, it's not what it used to be. But I've more fruitful fruitful enterprises going on in real life now. So we're opening our third bar. I hope when the pandemic's over, it's ready to go. Also own an import business. Yeah, I got my finger in many pots.
So Malta, where exactly is that?
Malta is a tiny little island nation off the coast of Sicily. It's actually it's actually lower down than Tunis and Tunisia. So it's lower down the north of Africa. So it's right plonk in the middle of the Mediterranean. The population is only 400,000, so it's really small. But this has kind of become like a tax haven hub, like the Mediterranean Cayman Islands, because you got the biggest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance, just put their headquarters here. A lot of the iGaming, online gambling casino guys set up camp here as well. So it's kind of a bit of a hub for tech and financial banking, and yeah, there's a lot going on here. It's booming.
Does it have any a lot of tourist traffic also?
Oh, hell yeah! I mean, it's if you look online at the capital Valletta, it looks like a museum. The whole city. You got I think got 2 million visitors a year, which is 5 times the population of the country. And loads of people living here. It's very multicultural. A lot of Scandinavians, French, Italians, a lot of Colombians and Venezuelans now have moved here. It's kind of like turning into a Mediterranean Singapore.
So how's it a tax haven? Like, what kind of tax breaks do you get? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, essentially, if you set up a holding company abroad, let's say in Estonia or Gibraltar, and you send the money back here, you can get an effective tax rate of 5% if you're a corporation. And aside from that, like personal income tax is quite low. You're only paying 25% over 25 grand to 60 grand, so 25%. You're only paying 35% then after 60 grand, so it's quite low for income tax. There's no property tax. So I just bought this apartment here that I'm in right now. I've got a 3-bed. You don't have to pay property tax on that. Everything's cheap. Alcohol is cheap. Driving cars is super cheap. It's
How much is alcohol? A beer at a bar.
I could go across the street. There's a bar across the street, and I can get a pint for €2, which is like less than $3. Now my bars are a bit more expensive because I do a lot of the craft beer kind of thing and cater to a little bit more of a urbane crowd, let's say. But averaging €2.50. If you go down to the waterfront, the main tourist areas, you're going to pay €3-4 a pint. It's cheap. And for example, you can go to the main party district, and I know a place that you can get 60 shots for €20. They give you a big tray, and that'll mess you and your mates up.
Sounds like paradise, honestly. And there's no COVID lockdown or anything?
The bars are reopening Friday. We didn't have a total lockdown. You can still go to the beaches, but yeah, it was pretty heavy. The bars and restaurants are closed, which almost killed me. It almost bankrupted me, man. But thankfully, we're getting out of that pretty soon. Yeah, but it's pretty relaxed here, and the government did a good job of catching it early. The airport's closed, so unfortunately, absolutely no travel plans. I had to cancel. I had a load of trips planned. I had to cancel. Luckily, I got a few trips in earlier in the year. I went to Belarus, Ukraine, Austria, Lithuania. So I got a few little trips in before the whole thing happened. God knows when it goes back to normal. Where are you based yourself?
I'm in New York.
Oh, I miss New York, man. I don't know if you know there. I wrote a book on New York.
You did? I might have read.
Oh yeah.
I've read a lot of
content. My second book was. I wrote 3 books. My second book was An Audio Nomad's Guide to New York City, and I wrote like a big. I think it's the biggest book or the most comprehensive guide to New York for bachelors ever made. I think it's nightlife.guide.nyc. I covered every single part of the city. I went to sometimes 10 venues a night. I reviewed over 500 venues. I really got under the skin when I was there. I love New York. I really miss it. Whereabouts in New York are you living?
I'm in Manhattan. I'm up by Columbia. I'm actually a student in Columbia.
Columbia? Oh, I used to actually live up on 145th and Broadway. So in Hamilton Heights nearby. I used to always drink it. It's 1020 still open?
I think, yeah, the whole area, like at the Wallace, Harlem Pub.
Harlem Pub was at Hamilton Heights, but near Columbia, wasn't there? Like I think it's 1020 is the bar down there. It's on 110th, and it got.
1020. That's right.
1020.
Yeah, I've been there.
Exactly. Yeah. I used to hang out a lot around those streets and stuff. It's so hit or miss, but I'd rather go downtown. But yeah, I used to live up in that part of town. I miss it dearly.
Yeah, 1020 is like where a lot of Columbia students hang out, actually. I've only went there twice.
It's a bit small, to be honest. It's hard to find a really good party up in that part of town. A lot of Dominicans, though, which is nice.
You like Dominican women?
Yeah. Well, Latinas in general, Colombians, Dominicans. And also a lot of black chicks as well, I tend to like them a bit darker, so.
Yeah, they're sexier. They have nice skin.
Yeah, curves.
Women especially.
You got the curves.
And they got the curves, yeah.
Yeah, so, a lot of ratchet chicks up there, though, man. God damn.
Yeah, true. I've been down. I've had a lot of stories like that. So I was just wondering. I guess we can talk about New York since you're pretty acquainted with it. Where would you like?
Hmm.
I don't know. What's your favorite part of New York to meet women?
I kind of like, ooh, to meet girls. I in the book I mentioned that the best thing to do if you're living in New York is to hunt locally. You're better off, much better off hunting near your apartments because
Yeah.
you know yourself, like trying to get a girl from downtown to come up all the way up there. It's like, girls are lazy there, really lazy. So I always recommend hunting your own backyard. But if I was looking for quality, I'd be obviously, Greenwich obviously has the best quality, but you got all that bottle service crap in there. I like Lower East Side. I like the Lower East Side and Williamsburg. Williamsburg is a bit hipster, but Lower East Side got that mix of that kind of, you got a lot of those kind of hipster cool dive bars, but also more discos, a bit more upscale. You got a good mix. It's a good hybrid there. So I really like Lower East Side. Yeah, that was probably my favorite area. I think Brooklyn's really cool though, but not necessarily for the girls are a bit rough around the edges. But no, I'd fun all over there. But definitely, yeah, probably Lower East Side. Worst place, Murray Hill.
Yeah, man. How often do you come to New York? When was the last
Well,
time
I
you
can't
came?
get it. They won't give me a visa. Actually, I was supposed to go. I was supposed to go Christmas time. I'd be there for New Year's Eve, but they wouldn't give me a visa because of my travel history. Because
Oh,
if you've because I've been to Sudan, Syria, Iran, Somalia. I'm basically on their shit list, and when I went to get the visa, they said, "Oh, sorry, there's a problem with your application." So, and that was in November. Still no conclusion. So I don't know what the problem is. And last I heard, they were stopping all applications anyway. You usually don't need a visa, but the fact that it's just my travel history. So, and the fact that I lived there for 2 years as well. So yeah, a few red flags raised, I guess.
so you're probably gonna have to wait a little while before they let you come back.
Here, man, I just hope they let me in at all. Because to be honest, there's a chance I might be banned just
What?
for good. If I get rejected yeah, if I get rejected
Just
once,
because of your travel
there's a
history?
good chance. I'd say there's a few more things than that. There's a few issues. Let's say it's
You
more than that,
overstay
man.
your
I got
visa
I
or
was
something
arrested.
like that?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I was there legally, but I was not. I was there on a graduate visa,
Mm.
and I was not working there officially for 2 years. And they were like, "How did you live here for 2 years and not work?" And also, I did get arrested,
Oh
but
shit.
it was sealed and dismissed, so it shouldn't be an issue. But and it was just thrown out. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think it's just a case of when I applied for my second visa extension when I was over there. It took me 8 months to do that as well for the B2. So listen, hopefully I'll get it. Because I miss it. Like I really missed the fact that I couldn't go back to New York, see all the people I know there, and see all the old haunts. I love all the speakeasy scene over there. And there's so many. I mean, New York is it's the world on a plate.
Too bad they're being so. I guess they're being kind of like Japan with foreigners if you get arrested and stuff like that. I always thought they were more lax, but I guess not.
No, the US is not lax. No way. They're not when it comes to that kind of thing. But it said I had no charges brought against me, and everything was dismissed. So that shouldn't have affected my application.
Well, you're in Malta now, and Malta sounds like it gets some pretty hot women.
It does. It certainly does. I don't think it compares to New York, although it's not bad. It's actually quite similar. Well, the first thing I did when I came to, because Malta was after I came back, when my visa finished and I came back to Europe, Malta was my first choice in Europe. And I've been to every single country in Europe, every single one. And Malta was my first choice. And I thought it was quite similar to New York because it's an island like Manhattan. I lived 2 minutes by the water. I lived quite near the water as well when I was up in Hamilton Heights. And the women are gorgeous and they come from everywhere. Same here. Beautiful summers, Nightlife goes later here than in New York. So like you can party till 6 a.m. here every night.
Yeah.
So it actually it really doesn't sleep. So there's actually quite a few similarities. So it wasn't that much of a change. Except here is way more relaxed. I don't have to deal with traffic.
So I kind of like was curious about your adventure, like your traveling escapades. Like, how did you get started in the whole like like you've been to every country in Europe. Like, how did you get started in this big like excursion? I guess. Like what?
Well,
Just...
I wrote. I have my. It's a lot of this I kind of detail in my first book, which is actually named after the blog Naughty Nomad. When I was 18, I was quite lucky. I got to go on a scientific expedition to Antarctica, and that was the best trip, the most incredible trip of my life. It was so adventurous. We're on the roughest sea in the world, Drake Passage. We had to rescue a Russian research ship there called the Vavilov. It was epic in every way. And how I got on that trip was by meeting Jonathan Shackleton, who was related to Ernest Shackleton, who was the guy who wrote, who tried to get to the South Pole. There's a great story on the ship, the Endurance. But that kind of ignited the fire in me. And then my first 2 years, like 18, 19, 20, those years, those summers during college, I had some pretty extreme backpacking trips. I ended up getting stuck in Cambodia after losing my passport. So my friend who went with me is still there. He's raising a kid, so his story is a bit wild too. And then the year after that, I ended up living on a marijuana farm over there. And the girl I was living with tattooed my name on her ass. It's a long story. And then I ended up breaking up our marriage years later, 4 years later, which is an awful story. But she ended up remarrying a Swiss guy and lives happily ever after in Switzerland. So that turned out well for her. But then the next trip was Cairo to Cape Town. So me and my friend Dan, we went from Cairo all the way through the whole of Africa to Cape Town. And we went into Congo, East Kivu, which is basically an active war zone. There's 25 different factions. We smuggled like a kilo of weed or nearabouts over 7 borders there. We were really stupid. We were 20 years old. We jumped the border in Sudan. We had all these crazy experiences, and it was very extreme. My friend Dan had cancer, and he recovered. He got it back 3 times, and he eventually recovered, and he wanted to do this big adventure. And he thought he was invincible. And sure, I thought I was invincible as well. So we were really reckless. And everyone was saying after those trips, I started telling people our stories and that you should write a book. So that's how I ended up starting the blog, starting the book. And then, of course, I was like a little monkey. I had to keep upping the ante. And that's why my last book is called My Life as a Mexican Pirate, because for the better part of a decade, then we started going to war zones dressed like Mexican pirates. So things just got more and more extreme in my life. We ended up first going to all of West Africa, Cote d'Ivoire during the Civil War. They were like, okay, where's more dangerous? Syria, 2012. So I went to Syria dressed as Mexican pirates. And then it culminated in Somalia, Mogadishu, with a suicide bomber's head at my feet, his brain oozing out. And I was like, okay, maybe it's time to slow down. Then I moved to New York.
As a Mexican pirate, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. War Zones as a Mexican Pirate. My Life as a Mexican Pirate. It just came out in just last month or 6 weeks ago. It got to #1 on Amazon for adventure travel. The reviews are all 5-star reviews. Everyone's loved it. Guys, check it out. It's MexicanPirates.com. It's an amazing book. And if I don't say so myself, it's just, the story is a bit mad and the reception has been great. It took me many years to write it, and thankfully I'm working on the audiobook at the minute.
I was wondering how you market yourself. Like, I feel like you use a lot of Google, SEO, or are you?
I'm a terrible marketer. I used, like back in the day, I used to blog 3 times a week when blogs are worth something, and you used to type in "getting laid" in Liechtenstein or "getting laid" in Malta. And I'd be always the first result because I used to write a lot. I put the work in. You got to put the work in. I was poor at building up my social media because I just relied on Google so heavily. And I only kind of I got into Instagram really late. I don't use YouTube too much. Twitter and Facebook. I'm only kind of, social media was a bit slow to the game. And then, in recent years, I've kind of backed off from the whole online space, I guess. I guess I kind of lost interest. I had a few media hit pieces on me a few years back, and that kind of was like, is it worth it? And even like a mild degree of fame was enough for me. Getting recognized in the street a couple of times, it was cool. My first 20 minutes in New York, actually, some guy recognized me and paid me on the metro when I just arrived with my backpack. But like that was enough for me, and I found just that I write about in my new book. The fact that I kept going to so much extremes, and with the girls as well, like constantly getting all these flags, and because I was taking the extremes with women and stuff. I remember like one day in New York, my first 3 months, I was like, okay, I was getting like 3 races in a day and stuff like that. I was just trying to constantly be extreme with that, and it didn't give me much satisfaction. I just felt like I was performing. So that kind of put me on a different path when I kind of stepped back and realized that. And now I'm more interested in, I said, building a little empire here, my humble little empire here. And life is good, and I'm going to hopefully start a family in the next couple of years. So I'm a bit older now, so I'm on a bit of a different path. I'm still doing a bit of travel for sure. I was in Kazakhstan and Nepal last year. And Belarus, Ukraine. I do a few trips and stuff, but it's not what it used to be because I said I got a lot of responsibility now. So sorry, that's what it's like. Life is like in your 30s, I guess.
So I was just wondering, are you a citizen of Malta now?
No, I'm not. I'm a resident, but I'm an Irish citizen, but it's European Union, so
okay. Cool.
I mean, it's kind of like Europe is set up in a way where it's basically like moving state. You can set up here, no problem. You get all the same rights as the locals. So that's a good thing about the European Union.
Okay, so if I became like I guess a citizen of Germany or something like that, I would be able to live anywhere I wanted?
Yes, anywhere in the European Union. It's great. I got my brother. My brother just moved here as well. I'm pretty sure my parents are going to move soon because they see all the business opportunities here as well. And
my dad, business people too, entrepreneurs.
Yeah, they own bars as well. I'm a 3rd-generation bar owner. My grandfather owned bars. My father owned bars, nightclubs, and stuff. And so I kind of. I was on autopilot. I kind of saw a good opportunity here and I dove at it. It's in my blood,
That's great. Yeah, I can tell. But oh man, what was it? Oh yeah, you were saying you went to Ukraine and Belarus. Those are like 2 places that I really want to go. I haven't been to yet. I was wondering what your thoughts on that part of the world were.
Well, there is a consensus that they have the best looking women in the world, and I tend to agree, to be honest. Especially Ukraine. I would say a bit more, just by a smidgen. Now, some people would disagree, but generally the Eastern Slavs are the best looking. It's cheap. People are friendly, especially Belarusians. They're surprisingly friendly because Russia, if you go to Moscow, people are not friendly. But in Minsk, like people were like, we're getting waved on the street and called at and stuff, which is mad.
You speak Russian?
You get a lot of tourists. But я говорю по-русски только немного, so a little bit. Enough. Достаточно. Sorry for my accent there, Russian speakers, but I could get away with a date. I could go on a date and have a very awkward time. But говорю по-английски. You know a bit. Do you use Pimsleur?
I studied on, my phone app.
Oh, sweet.
Right.
That's cool. Like, there's great resources now for learning languages. I love learning languages. Any trip I do and try to refresh or learn something using Pimsleur.
A lot of Russians here in New York too.
Yeah, hell, I actually lived with a Russian over there for 8 months, and she was a bit nuts. Like, I used to bring her around on a collar and leash. Yeah, it was pretty kinky.
You
And
bring her around to bars?
yeah, restaurants as well on a
Yeah.
collar and leash. Not all the time. This was only like a handful of times. She was crazy as well. She's nuts. But she was fun. She ended up marrying a transgender person for immigration and moved over to California. That's how that relationship ended. But yeah, it was good. It was good. Good times in New York. Some of my craziest stories from New York. Out of all the traveling I've done, New York is pretty hedonistic.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It's yeah, and of course, like, and I was, my family had
Oh shit. You just froze,
being
man.
huh? Yeah, oh, sorry. Yeah, but my family have a bar in Greenwich, right?
Mm.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, right. You got it now. So, yeah. So obviously, like the whole bar owner thing, or the bartender thing, Irish accent in New York, it goes a long way.
Do you have a lot of family here in New York?
Not anymore. No, my uncle lived there for 2 decades, and he set up that bar in Greenwich Village. So, and a few Irish heads over there now. But we, like, my family only owns 10% of that place now. And we're not getting paid any of it because we had a falling out with the other owner. But unfortunately, no family over there. That's the only problem I have about New York. It's a very transient city. I know a few people who live there and who are actually from there, but they're renters as well. So there's sort of it's very hard to feel like grounded in New York, which is kind of, it's bittersweet about it. And so I kind of have a bittersweet feeling about it because every person that I got close to or know there's a good chance like 90% of them are gone.
Yeah, that's true. I've been here 10 years and I'm already kind of like wanting to get out of here.
Where are you from originally?
Miami, but I've been here like, I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to stay here anyways because like I don't like the fact that I'm giving up an opportunity to make more money than I can. If I go somewhere else, it'll be a lot harder for me to find like clients and stuff like that. So
And what are you doing in New York?
I mainly do like digital marketing, but I have a few online businesses that I do myself, but I build people's like social media and stuff like that. But
And tell me what got you interested in doing this thing?
I don't know. Honestly, it's kind of a boring story, but I'll tell you. I took the Myers-Briggs test, and it told me what I was
Yeah.
like, best suited for, and it said marketing, and I just started studying it, and
Huh.
it was pretty right. It's like it comes natural to me. So I just started studying it, and now I'm working in it, just seeing where it goes.
It's not that boring a story. It's just quite an interesting way of coming about. It's like, all right, what are my inclinations, based on my personality type, and it's a lot more it's a lot more calculated than most people live their lives. They just kind of go with the flow, and so I mean,
I've
hats off to you.
definitely made some uncalculated decisions. Like I have 2 kids, 2 women that were unplanned, but
Oh,
so that wasn't very
all right.
calculated.
Okay, how old are you?
33.
33. I'm same age as myself.
You're 33?
Yeah, I don't know any kids.
There you go.
If I
Lucky
do
you.
have any. So 2 kids, two women. Where are the girls from?
One is Chinese and the other one is Japanese.
Oh, so you like
Rival
Asians?
nations.
Yeah, God damn, they'd say they like each other.
But I got lucky
That's
because the women, they come from good families, so the kids are well taken care of.
Oh, okay. That's when you see, like, you got yellow fever.
Yeah, I did. I don't so much anymore now that I see how much responsibility came with it.
Yeah, are you on good terms?
Yeah, I still talk to the women and talk to my kids. But right now I'm just kind of focused on building my nest egg and like getting something established like what you got going. So everything I've been learning and in marketing, I'm kind of applying it to this. Like podcast is a good way to like create like a personal connection with your audience, build more awareness. So I've been kind of like focusing on that. I have like
Yeah, I think it's good that you're starting off straight with video. I suggest you get that Logitech though, because it'll really up your game. I actually use as well. This is it look a bit overkill now. I have good natural light here, but sometimes I use see, I got a light here and everything.
yeah.
It's a bit overkill, but where it's the sun is setting over here, so I'm worried that the natural light is going to die during the conversation.
What kind of mic is that you got there?
It's a Rode NT1A. I got it because the audiobook. So it's really good. I think it's can't remember. It's like 180 quid or something like that. But the Rodes are good. Yeah, I mean, and it really upped your game. You can also use lapels and stuff like that. But the sound and camera is so important.
Laptop also?
Yeah, I got a beast of a laptop. Yeah, I got a MSI. It's like 32 gigs of RAM. This machine, because I do a lot. Yeah, I do motion graphics and a lot of like video stuff, and so I need a beast.
32 gigs of RAM. That's fucking.
Yeah, it's no joke. This thing. It's huge as well. But I do a lot of graphic work. I used to own a video production company in Ireland, and it's still up and running. Actually, I have my cousin running it around, and so there's still work to be done.
So that's awesome. You're definitely like good candidate for talking about like entrepreneurship and stuff like that. But anyway, how long have we been on? I feel like we've been on a while.
I don't have a clue, actually.
Probably around an hour. If I do too much,
really? So far? No. We started at 6:30, so it's only been 36 minutes.
All right. I guess we can talk a little bit longer if you want. But if I do like up to an hour, it takes up a huge amount of space when I finally convert the video. Takes me.
No problem. I tell you what, we can wrap up in 10 minutes.
All right. Any interesting stories you want to tell about like Ukraine or Belarus?
I'll tell you some stories. I'll tell you a few stories, but just going back to what you were saying about the entrepreneurship to finish it up. Just so you know, I'm 33 now, right? When I was 30, I was broke. I was in debt. I moved here with a girl from New York, actually. She was a Harlemite. We were dating, and we ended up breaking up. My rent doubled. I came here with I had enough to live off. I had the 4-hour work week achieved or whatever, because I made enough money just from the net and actually singing. I used to play guitar every Saturday in an Irish pub. So I was doing the 4-hour work week thing over here. And then we broke up, my rent doubled, and I couldn't survive because I got a duplex with a big roof terrace. I was a bit optimistic. So I ended up having to rent my apartment out in Airbnb, and I got a tent because I figured the only way I'm going to pay the rent is if I rent this place out and sleep somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
I eventually graduated to hostel beds to survive, and eventually I got a good contract with a company here, and then I got to use it. On the back of that, I got to invest in property. Then I found the bars, the first bar, the second bar, third bar. So it's like in 3 years. I also invested in Bitcoin when it was 630. That was a good idea.
Oh shit! You hit the lottery of Bitcoin, man. Fuck.
Yeah, I got into crypto early enough. And
that was enough.
I think that was I put. Go on.
A long time ago, I almost bought Bitcoin like when it was nothing, man. Because there's this website that I don't know. I guess you could order pizza with it, and I was like, what the hell? But I saw the process into getting the wallet or whatever. I'm like, fuck, it's too complicated.
It was enough to put I think a chunk of it put a deposit towards this place, and but the entrepreneurship, it just kind of happened fast to me. But I was broke when I was 30. But anyway, travel stories. God, where do I start? Okay, I'll tell you what. Pick a region, like a rough region.
A rough region.
Just a region of the world.
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. Okay, I haven't been to Saudi, but okay, I've been with the half Saudi, but let's go to. I'm thinking, will we do something in the region? Okay, so what's near Saudi? Okay, Oman and Dubai, right?
Yeah, Dubai.
So Oman, Dubai, because I got a story from anywhere, but I'll tell you a story from Oman. So I don't know if you know this. So Saudi Arabia, Oman, that whole area, the Emirates, it's probably the hardest place in the world to be with a local, let's say, because it's illegal before you're married to hook up. A lot of them definitely can't drink, and premarital relations is bad enough, but with a foreigner, it's even worse, right? And I was in Oman for one night, okay? One night. So like I'd say a total of 30 hours in Oman. And I have a friend who was living there for 7 years. And I asked him when we arrived, we were dressed up as Mexican pirates. And it was a group of us. And I asked him when we arrived, listen, what's the chances of hooking up? And he goes like, not a hope in hell. No one I know has ever hooked up with an Omani. He kissed one, and it took him a year or something like that. And he did manage to kiss one. He actually slept with one. He was the only person I know who slept with an Omani.
A year just to kiss them?
Yeah. No. Yeah, but no, sorry. I can't remember if it was kiss or no. It's a year to get a kiss, but he eventually actually being with the local. She was divorced. But he was the only person on record that I knew who'd been with the local, and he'd been living there a couple of years, and I was only there for 30 hours, and what ended up happening was I did actually meet someone, and she was lovely, and we're still friends to this day. She actually ended up visiting me in Ireland after that, but anyway, we ended up meeting, and she had a curfew or whatever, or I can't remember the situation, but our flight the next day, we got delayed for 3 hours, right? And I said, what's the chances I message her and in those 3 hours I can make something happen? And she picked me up at the airport, like we're just messaging on Facebook. She lived 15 minutes away, and she was thick, man. She was like the thickest person I ever knew. She was like, bring a black man to his knees kind of thing. She's hip to waist ratio. I wasn't usually into this thing, but it was in proportion,
Yeah,
and,
I like that.
she got the Arab blood, and so she ended up sneaking me back to her house, and her brother and the maid were there. And so we ended up like sneaking in. We found a guest room, and we got the job done. Then she dropped me back to the airport, and I flew to Dubai. So that's what and she ended up visiting me in Ireland for the next Patrick's Day and stuff like that. So that's not really a great story, but it was a difficult thing to accomplish.
Satisfying experience for you, I guess.
Yeah, it was fun. And another in that region, I was in Syria during the civil war as well. That was pretty crazy. We were there. There was 52 people killed or something. One morning we woke up, there was helicopters flying overhead. There was actually fighting in the suburbs of Damascus. It was the worst time to be in Damascus. It was in the height of things, 2012, in February, March. And I remember, like, we had a swarm of people coming down the street, just like all the lads, like, blah, blah, blah. But it was all pro-Assad stuff. It was like, Assad. And they were wearing they had his portrait and everything like that. It was the complete opposite of what it was like on the media, which was really, really surprising. And I have another good story in there, but unfortunately I can't mention it. I was with in Lebanon. I was with a celebrity over there, a pop singer. But I tell the story in my book. She dressed up as a ballet dancer for me, but I can't mention her name obviously because
NDA.
People would know her.
Non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, well, no, I wouldn't do that to her. No, it's not a good idea. But they're more of my kind of like, I suppose, they're a bit more bedroom stories. But I have a lot of stories that are my best stories are nothing to do with that kind of thing. It's more dangerous places, doing stupid stuff. I remember I got held hostage in Djibouti.
What?
Which sucked.
Shit.
Yeah. That's a long story too. It was like, I was honey potted. So it was a Somali girl actually. She brought me home, and then afterwards you're lying. She goes, "Oh, I'm lying in bed," and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get some water or something." She locked the door and basically held me there, called up a load of her friends. I was there for hours, and they made me stay there until my friends came with money and stuff. I'm not going to say how it ends. You can read my book, MexicanPirates.com, to find out. I've loads of stories. I have too many stories. God damn, man. I'm lucky to say I've lived quite a fulsome life. So that's why I can breathe a bit and say, I'm all right being chilling out here in a Mediterranean island, building businesses. I don't need to go crazy anymore. I can have my one or two little adventures a year in somewhere a bit random, and I'm good. Because what I realized was I wanted to travel to every country in the world, because when I was 20, I was in Uganda, and this girl, after I slept with her, told me she had HIV.
Oh shit.
And we didn't take precautions, let's say, and so I had to wait 3 months to get tested. And at the time, that was a death sentence. That was 12 years ago. 13 years ago, jeez, I'm old. But yeah, so I decided if I had only 15 years left in my life to live, what would I do? Travel every country in the world. So that's the way I was traveling. I was at my visit on my 30th birthday. I hit my 100th country. It was in Iceland, and it was great because I had people fly in from 3 different continents, friends and family. It was amazing. But I knew another Irish guy, similar age to myself, a bit older. He was the first Northern Irish or Irish guy to travel to every country in the world, and he was only 34, 35. And then I was thinking, God, if I travel to every country by that age, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? So now I'm like taking it slow. I've done the majority of it, So now I'm just taking it slow, enjoying the ride a bit more. I don't want to I'm not in such a rush. So I don't want to finish every country by the time I'm 40 and I've nowhere else to explore. So now I'm in third gear now. So
you're making me want to go to Malta now. What's the name of your bar, if you don't mind me asking?
I'll send it to you in a message. I don't like to put that in the internet because haters, man. I've had my share of haters, so I don't want people calling us up or annoying us. There's 3 places. Third place is not open yet, but it will be in the next month. But if you just send me a message and you can look them up.
Probably go there after this coronavirus shit is over.
Yeah, no, it's a great place. It's a great place to live. It's very relaxed, sunshine. It's a good spot, man. It's a good spot. There's a reason why a lot of people are moving here, and there's good opportunities. It feels like Ireland in the 90s.
Especially if it's $2 a beer, or $2.
Yeah, well, it's usually $2.50 in my bars for the cheapest one, but you can get it for $2. So you get it for $1.50. I know a place down the street where a lot of the restaurants and bars here, the kind of more cheap place, they give you a can for $1.50. You sit down with a can. You can drink on the street here in Malta as well, except for in one town, which is actually this town. But most of Malta you can drink on the street as well. It's very relaxed. Lots of festivals as well.
And everybody speaks English?
Yeah, it's one of the official languages here. That's what a lot of people don't know about Malta. It's like Gibraltar. They have Maltese and English, but English, everybody speaks English. So it's a gem, and it's only going to get. That's why I invested here, because I really just see there's going to be huge opportunities here.
All right, man. Well, I guess this is where we can leave off. This is Mark Zolo, very experienced, well-known guy in the Naughty Nomad community. He has a group called Naughty Nomad. Website's called Naughty Nomad also, right?
Yeah, naughtynomad.com. My Twitter is Naughty Nomad. My Instagram is Naughty Nomad. Facebook is, you can just type in Naughty Nomad. YouTube as well. Check me on YouTube. I'm actually making I just made a new template to do my city guides, but in video format. I just finished the Armenia one. There's a little bit more to do, but it's really, really detailed and extensive. And hopefully that'll provide a template where I can do more video content. So I'm looking forward to that. And MexicanPirates.com, my new book, My Life as Mexican Pirates. Check it out on Amazon. The reviews have been awesome. Hopefully the audiobook will be finished around midsummer.
You've been to Armenia. Okay, we can talk about that next time, I guess, if you want to be on another time.
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, listen, you can have me back anytime. I like doing these kind of things.
All right, awesome. All right, man. I'll leave the links in the description.
All right.
All right. Take it easy.
Take care, man. Enjoy New York. If I ever get my visa, I'll look you up, right?
All right, man. All right, thanks for
All right.
being on. Take it easy.
Pleasure. Take care. Bye.
glorybebynight.com